on picking your sources. I've got some tips that may be able to help you out. I've been watching the responses and I thought, well, maybe I should clarify a few things. Hopefully it'll help. Generally, you want to use a scholarly, a peer-reviewed article. There may be some reasons not to use one, though. For example, so let's say if we're looking at screens and ADHD and you've Googled it, one of the first ones that comes up is an ABC news story that more screen time is linked to higher risk of ADHD in preschool age kids. So this is like the news article. We've talked about this before, the idea of secondary and primary sources. This is a secondary source. They are reporting on some peer-reviewed research. Basically what they say is that, yes, kids that are on screens a lot have higher symptoms of ADHD. So I'm scroll through here trying to find the primary source, and they don't actually list it. They do list one of the researchers. I looked into him. He didn't actually list it on his page either, so I didn't find it there. They do show this, they call it the child study. And so I looked that up, and it turns out it is a large cohort study that's longitudinal. They're doing it over a number of years, and they've got 100 different publications out of it, I think is what it showed. So, yeah, here we go. In 2019, they had almost really close to 100. So I searched through those publications, and I finally found the primary source. Screen time is associated with inattention problems in preschoolers. There would be a couple of reasons to not use this primary source. For example, if we were in a graduate course, we would definitely use this one to read through this. We wouldn't use the ABC news story. We would actually go through the methods and the results. In an undergraduate class, especially a 2000 level course, I don't do that. So I might show you the ABC. I might show you this if you want to look at it, but we don't actually read through a lot of these primary peer-reviewed articles because they're dense, and a lot of the students in a course, an undergraduate 2000 level course, are not going to be sophisticated enough. They don't have, the research class. They don't have the statistics class. So they're not going to be able to read these articles well. You should get some exposure to them, but the idea that this is the only thing we would do in an undergraduate level class, look at these peer reviewed, is probably not accurate. It's not the way to go. Graduate level course, yes. Undergraduate, probably not. Also, a couple other reasons maybe, or at least one other reason to use the secondary source. If you're discussing it with somebody that doesn't have any experience with this stuff, like you're talking to your mom or your dad, and they don't have a background in psych science, that would be a good time to send the ABC news story because it's easy to digest that news story compared to this one. A couple other things I look for when I'm looking at citations is, I call it their magnitude and timeliness is the words for them. So I have an example of this. This is way back in R2. I really liked the articles that this group picked. This is group number 2. I think this is in my first class. They had free will. We were way back in R2, we talked about free will, and then we also talked about some evolutionary perspective things. And so they got 2 articles on that. The free will in scientific psychology. This is 2008. This is from Baumeister. And so Baumeister is a well-respected psychologist in the field. So this is going to have high magnitude. So this is going to be an article that has been, I'm sure, used numerous times by numerous people. I'm sure it has a lot of citations. So this is a good article, high in magnitude. The other one was published in 2018, so it may not have a lot of citations. Not a lot of people have cited this article yet because it's fairly new. It is high in timeliness. High in magnitude, high in timeliness, I think that's definitely the way to go. Also, when you're looking at your sources, you want to think about where they come from. So as another example, if you're just Googling things, you're like, does screen time make ADHD worse? And here's one that comes up. There was actually a group that's used this as a citation that made me think about it. We should talk about this. So first of all, they're wanting you to sign up for something that's probably not a good sign. I still don't want to sign up. So screen time, answering your most important questions, and you go down through here. And there is some good information here, and they do have some citation to some research. The thing, though, that threw me off about this citation, or this website, it's like, what is the purpose of this website? Why does it exist? Does it exist to inform people about scientific research, or is there another reason? And so if you go up to the About Us, you will find out that it's actually, he's someone, a doctor, he's practiced pediatric medicine in ADHD, he's selling books, he's selling supplements, he's selling all these different things. So the actual purpose of this website is to sell people things. Does that mean it's a bad resource? No, not necessarily. Like the first part of the website that we looked at with all the citations, some of that information is good. But you definitely want to be careful about using a citation where the main purpose is they're trying to sell you something. Kind of related to this, if you are going to Google things, what you probably should do is use Google Scholar. when I first started doing research, I used PsycInfo, and PsycInfo is great, and it's probably, the most used database for psych research. That being said, Google Scholar has a lot of things that are not going to be on PsycInfo, so I can see using PsycInfo for sure, and maybe even Google Scholar. As far as just Googling things to try to find the answers to stuff in psych science research, it might not be the best idea. I wish we were discussing this in person, in a face-to-face class when we're talking about things like this. When I talk about how to do research, things of that nature, it just kind of comes up naturally in the class, and it's not something it really happens when it's just me talking to the screen or you guys talking to the screen. Anyways, hopefully that helps, something you can use down the road. Thank you for listening.